All right. So while we wait on others to join us, we'll be going straight to starting of the session. Uh, we're going straight to starting of the session. Um, if you had visited our website, you would have seen the profile of our speaker. Uh, you would have seen his profile, and you will know that he is not an everyday man. Okay. So for the benefit of those who may not have gone through the profile, I'll once again go through it again. So our speaker for today is Mr. Frederick Okeagu. Uh, he is a human resource professional, and he has a master's degree in international human resource management and a PGD in guidance and counseling. He is a faculty member of Faith Foundation, a management consultant who was trained by the Center for Management Development. He is a performance management expert and a certified key performance indicator professional by the KPI Institute of Australia. He's a career counselor and a personality assessment coach. Mr. Frederick is very gifted in knowledge sharing and communication. He inspires exceptional performance in the workforce of several organizations through training delivery. He's very passionate about human capital development, and he majors in such areas as developing servant leadership, self-mastery, and personal effectiveness, emotional intelligence, performance management, effective business communication, and public speaking, customer experience and service experience, developing enterprise mentality and responsibility. Mr. Frederick is a practicing human resource professional with over 12 years of experience in human capital management, with about 8 years at the senior management level. He is certified with the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, CIPM. He is also a trained counselor and functions as a lead counselor for Smart Couples Clinic, a family guidance and counseling center. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege to bring on now for today's masterclass, the next 365, Mr. Frederick Okeagu.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
I'm glad to be here. What we're about doing is timely because we drift, you
Hello,
almost
sir.
get nothing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Your network seems to be fluctuating.
My network is fluctuating. Okay, also, can I share? Can I share
Yes, you
my
can, sir.
screen?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, sir.
It's telling me that who's disabled participant from sharing.
Okay. Let me walk around the settings immediately.
Okay. So I'm saying that what we're doing today is very important and is very timely. This is the best time to really look into goal setting. This is the best time to really look into planning for the new year, so that when you get into January, you hit the road running. So when you get into January, you hit the road running. Life is all about goal setting. It's all about goals and achieving goals. You know, as a young man coming out, or, you know, even while I was in school, you know, we had plans for ourselves. Coming out from school, we had plans, you know, written down plans that we began to pursue and began to see the reality, you know, the realization of these goals. You know, it's a whole lot of interesting thing to do, because when you set goals and achieve them, it excites you, it spurs you on, it makes you to have some sense of achievement and fulfillment. as a person. And so, but when you don't set goals, you're not going to gain from this value of seeing yourself actualized. I will share a story before we continue. When I finished my school from UNN, I was posted to Osun State for my NYSC. And that was actually in the month of August, that particular year, around July, August. When I got to the place, I don't know, I just had this boldness by the Holy Spirit to have interaction with my fellow corps members that were posted to my local government. And I told them, as I said, I have set for myself 3 faith goals for this 1 year of youth service. One of them is to have an apartment in Lagos. Number 2 is to have a car, whether official or personal. And number 3 is to get married. So these were my faith goals for that year, 2009/2010. And it was like a joke to them, but I was very serious. And how you know that I was actually very serious is the fact that I had to call them for that meeting to tell them, because I was inspiring them to say, don't allow this 1 year pass by without you having very practical, tangible things to hold on to from the service year. Because I realized from the stories of people that have gone ahead of us that people just while away time during service year, watch movies, follow girls, go to school, close by 1 or 12, go home, sleep, travel a lot and all that. And at the end of the day, they just finish that year with only the NYSC certificate, as it were, as an achievement. I set out to be different. After mentioning these 3 faith goals to them, the clock started ticking. That was August, as I told you. December came, and I got an apartment in Lagos. January, the following year came. The place I was working before I got my NYSC posting now decided to give me an official car. So two of the goals have been achieved. Then April the same year, that's while we're still in the youth service, I got married April 17th. And so when it was 1 month to pass it out, I drove my wife to, I told her to visit me in that place. I took down my official vehicle, went there, and I called a meeting again. And I was telling them, I said, do you guys remember what I told us August, sometime last year, August, when we came in here newly? These are the 3 faith goals I set for myself. And to the glory of God, all these 3 goals that were set have been actualized. I have gotten an apartment in Lagos, so when I finish my youth service, I have somewhere to be going. Number 2, the company I was working with before I was posted, who were now waiting for me to finish and return, and I return back to work, gave me an official vehicle. And then it didn't end there. I was also able to get married, just before the end of the service year. So you can actually achieve goals if you set one. But it begins with setting the goals. It begins with setting the goals. It begins with setting the goals. So it is very important for you to know that setting goals for yourself is a must. Is not something that you wish to do. It's something that is a necessity. Is a must do. Is a must do. Can we all see my screen? Can we all see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Good. So setting goals for yourself and for your life is a must do. So this story I share with you is very practical, is a life story, and I'm always proud to share it because exactly the way I was expecting it, the same way it manifested. So let us go into the course. I want somebody to answer me. A trainer and his wife went to Obudu Mountain Resort for a holiday. The couple have 3 children and each child has 3 children. How many people went to the resort? How many people went there?
So, okay.
Go ahead.
They had 3 children. So I think there were 12. Wait, 3,339 plus 3. 12. 12 plus 2. That's 14.
14. Thank you very much. Who else has an idea?
So I think
Yeah.
the
Has
answer is
nominated 14.
8.
Or another person has nominated 8.
My answer is 14.
Another person has nominated 14. Okay. Do we have another idea? Any other person, or shall I should go on? Okay.
Wait. 9 plus 2, 11.
Okay. Who is volunteering to say something
8.
else?
The answer
11.
is 2. The answer is 2. He didn't
Somebody
say. He didn't
volunteered
say.
to.
He didn't say that they went to the resort with their children. They have children, but they didn't go to the resort with their children. The answer is 2.
Thank
It's
you
just
very
the
much.
trainer and his wife that went to the. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So it's only 2 people that actually went. A trainer and his wife. The rest of the information there is just a description of those people. It's just but a description. Thank you very much.
It's actually a full stop before they continue.
Thank you. So I just wanted to steer our minds, as it were, you know. So welcome to a life of change. Welcome to a life of change. There's a reason why I call it a life of change, because when we talk about setting goals, we're talking about defining the trajectory of your life, defining the trajectory of your life. You know, when direction is not known, it means mobility cannot be defined. When your direction is not known, mobility cannot be defined. They normally say that if you don't know where you're going, everywhere looks like it. So you won't even know where to stop. Destination is not assured because you don't know where the destination is. You know, you become like a blind man that is stretching his hand looking for way out. You know, so that is what happens when you don't have goals. So it is a life of change. At the end of this session, I expect a transformation in the way we see goal setting and in the way we see planning, in the way we see life as in general. So our objective is to develop goals to bring your vision to reality, to balance and prioritize your goals across all areas of your life, and to make your goals smarter. Now, take a look at this quote. If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. By Page. Another way people put it is this. He said, doing the same thing, expecting a different result is another definition of what? Of madness. And so the reason why we are looking at this goal setting is to see how else we could improve on goal setting. It's not as if today is the first time we're hearing about goal setting, but let us look at if there are other ideas that you can imbibe, other ideas you can actually impute into your own style, and then to make it worthwhile for you. You know, things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. And so I'm happy that we're taking action early enough, because a lot of other people, even companies and corporations, have already started planning for next year. Some have even concluded our plans about next year. You know, most companies start planning for the following year from the month of October. You know, they start setting budget for the following year. And my question is, a lot of people, when we want to build our houses, we take time, weeks and months, and wait for the architect to finish the design of the building and bring and present made, and then all that back and forth is done. And at the end of the day, before work commences at the site. But the truth about the matter is, a lot of us don't even take up to 3 hours to plan our destinies, to plan our lives, to set targets and set goals for ourselves. Yet our life is more a physical building. So I say that drifting aimlessly through life, we are likely to run aground. Any ship or any boat that you see that is just moving around on the surface of the sea is likely going to have a mishap, because he doesn't have an aim, he doesn't have a can happen to that boat. And our life must not be that way. And what helps us to save ourselves from being drifting on the sea of life and at the ocean of life, is when we set goals for ourselves. So setting goals is a master skill of success. All successful people set goals for themselves. They have intense goal orientation. And guess what? More than 95% of people don't even set goals. And that is why you see that success belongs to a few, not many. Success belongs to a few, not many. Because if over 95% of people, based on research, don't even set goals, I would normally call it, people do behave like where belly face type of lifestyle, where belly face. When they wake up in the morning, anywhere their belly is facing, that's the way they go. Where belly face type of lifestyle. There's no direction, there's nothing that's actually guiding their movement. So if they wake up in the morning and a friend calls them on phone and say, oh, can we go to so place? That becomes the activity for the day. If they wake up in the morning and then they say, oh, experience is happening this evening, oh, that becomes their movement for the day. They wake up in the morning and then somebody knocks on the door and then come to gist from morning till afternoon. That becomes the order of the day for that particular day. That is aimlessness. The person does not have a goal. The person does not have a target. He just lives life as it comes. But you can't run life that way and expect better results. You cannot run your life that way and expect better results. So without vision, even the scripture says, people perish. Without vision, people perish. A very popular scripture. So we're looking at a methodology to achieve what we want to discuss today. One, we're going to look at values. We're going to look at visions. We're going to look at goals. And we look at setting milestones and then coming to tasks, your daily tasks, the things you do, the nitty-gritty things you must do on a daily basis. That's what I call the pyramid of personal effectiveness in life. In life, you must have values, you must have vision. So my question to you here is, what are your values? What are your life values? What are your life values? If I may ask, what is value? What do we understand by values? What do we understand by values? Can somebody help out in the class? Are we here? In your own words, what do you think is values?
Hello. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Values. I believe values are thoughts or thoughts pattern that you hold on to, that you believe so much in. Because when we are talking about, oh, this person have certain values, it's because this person doesn't have this kind of value. That's why this person is acting like this. So I believe values are thoughts or a way of life that you hold on to or you believe.
Thank you. Thank you. More insights.
Hello, value. The way I understand value. Value is a very scarce commodity. It's not rare. It's rare. It's not common. Like we equate the value of diamond and gold. So in personal aspect of value, I think is an idiosyncrasy, ideas, visions, and purpose, the things that guide your life around, the things that you hold dearly, your worldview, the way you see the world and the way you perceive others is your core value. So that is what I understand by value, and it's scarce.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys have done so well. Values, as we have said, is about your belief system, the things you believe and have confidence in that should shape or guide your life. You know, there are certain principles, you can call it principles, that you live by. Principles you live by, you know, is a function of your thinking, is a function of your perspective, is a function of your insight about life in general. And then the things you have betrothed yourself to say, okay, these things should guide my actions, they should guide my behavior, they should guide my attitude. They are values. You know, such things like chastity is a value. Such thing as time orientation is a value. You know, such thing as integrity is a value. Such things as a hard work or diligence is a value. So, you know, as we go through life, we betroth ourselves to certain values. We imbibe certain values. These things now rule the way we think, rule the way we see the world. So almost everything that happens to us, we weigh them, you know, with the lens, or we see them through the lens of our values, you know. So thank you so much. So every one of us, you must have values that you live by. You know, there are some of us that we can't just say certain things. We can't just talk anyhow because of certain values that we have come to imbibe over time. Some of us can't go to certain places. There are certain music we cannot listen to because of value that we have come to cut, you know, into our destiny. You know, so it starts from there. It starts from there. And then from values, you must have vision. What is vision? Vision is a picture of your future, a picture of your future. You know, so you must have vision. If you don't have vision, then there is actually nothing to build your goals upon, because vision is the fundamental plan, is the global picture, is the global picture that defines your destiny. And then upon visions, you now begin to set goals. What are goals? Goals are objectives. You know, goals are objectives, measurable things that you can now use to begin to drive your vision. That is goals. And then beyond goals, we set milestones. You know, you break your goals into milestones so that you can actually check the level of achievement per time. You can say in 1 week, this is where I would be. In 3 months, this is where I should be. In 3 years, this is where I should be. You know, that's milestones. And then from milestones, you now break it down, cascade it to nitty-gritties that concern daily activities, which are tasks. So this is what I call the pyramid of personal effectiveness in life. So you must be able to understand these dimensions. Now, I want to share a story by a Canadian writer, Jean-Marc Chaput. He said that life can be likened to a town where parade is in progress. So in that particular town, there's a parade going on. It's a 3% of the townspeople are in the parade. 7% of the townspeople are watching the parade and wishing that they could take part in it. Take note of that. They are watching and wishing. While 90% of the townspeople don't even know that there is a parade going on. Wow. 3% only are the people involved in the parade. 7% are watching out for the parade and wishing they could take part in it. 90% don't even know what is going on around them. And he said that 3% of those townspeople are those who are marching to a different drum than the other 97%. Yes, that is true. Because the other 7% and the other 90%, they are all doing nothing, as it were. They are not active, as it were, as far as that parade is concerned. So 97% of them are marching or dancing to a different drum, while only 3% are dancing to a different drum. And guess what? That 3% that is dancing to the drum are like the people who I will call set goals for themselves. So basically, I can say that 3% of Nigerians will end up setting goals for 2022. Why 7% of them may wishing that they set goals? And that wish will enter January, that wish will enter February. it will enter March, and before you know it, they're already in August, and then they will now be projecting again. Don't worry, 2023, I'll set goals. You know, people normally come out with what they call New Year resolutions. New Year resolutions, why they fail is because they are not standard goals. They are not set using standard goal methods, you know, and then it's just a wish. Most of the time, New Year resolutions are just a wish, and that's why it doesn't really sustain, or people can't sustain that wish, you know. So take note, in this discussion, you are part of the 3%. You are part of that 3% that are involved in the parade in town. You are part of that 3%. So congratulations to you. Now, I want to say to you that you are the CEO of your life. The day I understood this statement, my life took a new turn. The day I understood this statement, my life took a new turn, totally. That I am the CEO of my life. And who is a CEO? What do they do? How is their life pattern? These are questions, and I want us to share. For you, for instance, some of us are CEOs in our respective assignments, as it were, even at this moment. And then we also have mentors and people who have gone ahead of us, who we look up to, who are CEOs of their enterprise. You know, what are those things you see in their life? Can you share with me? When we say a CEO, what do you notice about them? What are the values you notice around them? What are the attributes of a CEO? Can we discuss that a bit before we move on? Talk to me. What are the attributes of a CEO that you know from your own observation, looking at your own life, looking at people around you? What are the attributes of a CEO? How do you know a CEO?
Okay,
Yes,
can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
All right, John Abraham is my name.
Thank you, John.
In a nutshell, I would say that a CEO is totally in charge of their life.
Totally
That's
in charge of their life.
of
Thank
their
you.
life.
Thank you. I think everybody here must say something regarding this. Go ahead.
A CEO, when you see a person that is a CEO, the way from his look, his time management, his time conscious, his goal bound and vision bound. It doesn't take no for an answer. He goes out all for whatever he wants to achieve as a CEO. And he doesn't take no for answer. And he doesn't allow excuses for anything.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yes, thank you so much, my brother. You've hit so many nails on the head. Thank you. More. Everybody must say something.
So for me, I would like to add that a CEO is one who have come to the point of realization that he or she has absolute responsibility for his or her life. That is to say that whatever will be the outcome of his or her life is solely up to him to determine. And he or she is committed to see to it that the outcome is favorable to him or her in the long run.
Awesome. Awesome. Perfectly. Perfectly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Has Chidima said something about this?
No. Okay,
Not
I
yet.
think being the CEO of your life means you are totally in charge of your life. Just like the CEO of a company is in charge of the company, not saying that you're not going to take advice from people, but then when you take advice from people, you should be able to evaluate it and know the ones that are good for you and the ones that are not good for you. You determine the outcome of your life. You plan your life, take responsibility for your actions and inactions. That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much. Powerful. Powerful. Fine.
Okay. To be the CEO of your life implies that you're taking total responsibility. Because when I claim I'm the CEO of my company, it means I'm totally in charge. Like I'm responsible for the outcome of my company. It's like just being responsible, taking responsibility.
Being responsible, taking responsibility. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys have done so well. You know, the insights you have just shared is all encompassing. You know, a CEO is enterprising, a CEO is dedicated, a CEO is responsible, a CEO is a time manager, a CEO is a goal getter, is a trailblazer. He takes no for an answer. He is adamant about getting results. He's crazy about getting results, you know, because he doesn't want to fail. Even when he fails, he rises to try again. You know, all these are what embodies a CEO. And so when I look at the word CEO, it gives me joy, because for me, anyone I see that is a CEO is a total human being. Because you can't be a CEO and somehow is all you lack in certain critical values or critical capabilities. You can't succeed. You know, as a CEO, you are almost a complete human being. You are almost a perfect man or woman. You know, you are like someone who has become an icon, an example that what life should be like, what life should look like. You know, so when we say that you are the CEO of your life, I mean to say that nobody owes you any what privilege, as it were. You cannot blame anybody for the outcome of your life. That is how I put it. You cannot blame anyone for the outcome of your life. So because as you are the CEO of your life, it means that the buck stops at your table. It means the buck stops at your table. So you must take responsibility for the outcome of your dear life. You must take responsibility for the outcome of your enterprise. So that is what it means to be a CEO. So all those traits of a CEO must be identified in you. So what does that mean? Therefore, it means that your life is like an enterprise. The same way we have corporations, the same way we have what? Companies, the same way we have organizations. You know, that's the same way your life is. Your life is actually a corporation. Your life is actually an organization. Your life is actually a company. You are a firm. As I'm looking at you, you are a firm. You are an industry as you are there. And you are the one that is calling the shot as far as that particular enterprise is concerned. The enterprise called you. The enterprise called your destiny. And so you must show dedication, you must show responsibility, you must show time management, you must be a go-getter, you must set plans, you must achieve your plans, you must do all this. You must also market yourself. So if this sinks into you, your life will take a different turn from today. So that brings me to what I call personal leadership. So being a CEO therefore means that if you understand that you are the CEO of your life, it means that you now understand that you have what we call leadership already existing on the inside of you. And you are already leading as we speak. Because there is an enterprise called you that you are leading at this moment. And it comes under goal achievement, self-development, relationship building, and time orientation. These 4 key areas would define your approach to success. So, goal-oriented thinking is about us. One of us mentioned it earlier that CEOs are goal-oriented. They are goal-oriented. What that means is that they have this mentality. They have a mindset of target. They are target-driven. Because goals are targets. Goals are objectives set that are driving to us. So, the Bible says concerning Jesus, in the book of Luke chapter 9 verse 51, that he set his face like a flint unto Jerusalem. So Jesus himself was goal-oriented. Another translation puts it that he was eager to get to Jerusalem. He was eager to get to Jerusalem. So you can imagine that. He was very passionate. And what surprised me in that scripture is that because of the way he set his face or the way he was positioned to get to Jerusalem, when he got to Samaria, they refused to receive him or entertain him because they said they perceived that he was going towards Jerusalem. So meaning that if you are goal-oriented, people around you will perceive it. People around you will know. It will show. It showed on Jesus. Go and read that place. He said the people of Samaria refused to entertain him because he was set towards Jerusalem. My God. That's so powerful to me. Another translation puts it this way. He said, Jesus, let nothing distract him from departing for Jerusalem, because the time for him to be lifted up drew near, and he was full of passion to complete his mission there. Full of passion to complete his mission, his goal orientation. Goal orientation. There was a man called Jehu in the scriptures, in the Bible. The Bible says that they were seeing somebody riding a horse from afar, and somebody said that person rides furiously like Jehu. So meaning that they already know that this man is target oriented, he's target driven. That when you see him walk on the street, you know that this guy is going somewhere. That is goal orientation. So why might goal setting work for you? Why are we even talking about goal setting? It's because it helps you to stay on your purpose. It helps you live on your purpose. Oliver Wendell says, I find the great thing in this world is not where you stand, but rather the direction in which you are headed. To reach a port, you must sail sometimes with the wind, sometimes against the wind, but you must sail and not drift nor lie at anchor. So the direction you are going is very important. The direction you are going is very important. So let's look at why we must set goals. Without goals, human beings drift. And drifting means underachieving your potentials and accepting mediocrity as a natural or normal phenomenon. And I will say to Fiakwa to that, because I don't want to live an average life. So I must set goals. Goal setting focuses your mind on what you want. It prunes you. It prunes your focus. Ndị Igbo si na nkịta na-achụ anụ na-abọ anaghị egbu anụ. That is an Igbo adage. That the dog... Exactly. Thank you. So if you are pursuing too many things at the same time, so many of them will leave you. They will slip from your hands. Listen, self-actualization is very slippery. It's something that you must be focused enough to achieve, to grasp, to lay hold on. So when you are scattered, when your focus, when your gaze is scattered, you are not going to achieve much. So when your goals are clear, your attention is directed to those things which will help you in achieving them. Goals help you to take action. That is true. Goals help you to take action. Goals give you a specific direction and a roadmap to follow. Just like we have the laser light and halogen light. When you bring the laser, a lens in the afternoon sun and channel it, once you get the focal length of that particular lens to hit directly on a paper, the thing can catch fire. Reason because of focus, but the halogen light is divergent in its approach to lighting the environment. It's not focused, it is divergent. So we are not saying that when you have goals or when you set goals for yourself, your life becomes convergent. Your life becomes directional. Your life becomes what? Specifics. You know, you be specific. Things that is not everything that drifts you. It's not everything that bothers you. Now, there's what I call the Reuben tragedy. The Reuben tragedy in the scripture. When they were blessing, Jacob was blessing his children. He said, as unstable. He said he is unstable like water. Reuben, unstable like water. When you are unstable, you're not going to achieve anything. Even the book of James chapter 1 and verse 8 says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Double-minded man. So goal setting makes you to be specific in your approach to things. Now, let's look at why people don't even set goals. Because sometimes they don't even realize the importance of goal setting. At other times, it's because it takes effort and discipline. Yes, goal setting takes effort and discipline. Some is because they don't know how to go about setting goals. Now, others are just afraid of failure. They don't want to set goals and they fail. I normally set goals a lot. And then one day my dad was asking me, say, why do you always stretch yourself and set all these goals? You know, try to achieve this, stretch yourself so much. And I smiled, I laughed, and I said, Dad, the reason why I set goals is for me to come close to achieving it. That if that time comes and I don't achieve it, I extend the timeline. It's not a do or die affair. I'm not going to kill myself, but it is rather worse for me not to set goals. It's rather worse for me not to aim at something. And so I kept setting aims. I kept setting targets for myself. Every moment target, every moment target. And guess what I do? When I come to, if I set a particular target for myself and I don't achieve it, the next one I will say will be higher than that one. That is how I mesmerize the devil. That's how I overcome mediocrity. If I come to that timeline I gave myself and I didn't achieve that goal, I add extra challenge to the goal. And guess what? I end up achieving it. So some other people are what? They are just afraid of success. That, oh, okay, their complacency, where I am is okay. Where I am is okay. They don't want to aim for more. Village champion. Now, there are also critical factors we must look at in goal setting. It must flow from your personal values. It must align with your deeper purposes. You know, based on that methodology I showed us earlier, it flows from your values and your visions. Your goals flows from your values and your what? And your visions. These are the fundamentals. These are the things that it sits on. If you don't have values, if you don't have vision, there's nothing to set your goals upon. There is nothing to derive your goals from. And in looking at setting goals, people have limiting factors, a mindset that limits them, a belief system that holds them back. One of them is, until the goal has been fully thought through and evaluated, it's just a dream. They keep having this mentality. But my home truth to you is that it is true that goal setting requires careful thinking and planning. However, set a time limit on your thinking and then commit to action. What I'm trying to say here is that you don't need to over-analyze. Don't suffer from what I call analysis paralysis. Now we're discussing goal setting. Some of us will continue. February come, we are still on goal setting. People are already running the race of 2022. We are still planning. We are still setting. We are still, discussing. We are still on that spot of planning. That is not good. So another mindset that limits people is goals must be realistic and take me in the right direction. Often overambitious goals cause people to stagger one way than another. They are concerned about how to push themselves too far. And my thought about it is that a good goal does involve asking yourself to do something you've never done before. Plan steps that are big enough to make a difference and small enough to manage. So it must be realistic. It must be big enough to challenge you and small enough for you to manage. If you make it too high, it demotivates you and you can't get, you can't go too far. Some people think that I have a lot of goals. It's important to be moving in all directions at the same time. As we have earlier shared, that will be a point of what? Failure for you. And another people normally think, I know what I want inside my head. I like to change my mind anytime I want to do so. But that is wrong. Anything that you have not documented, any goal that you have not written down, is not a goal, it's just a dream. And that's why the fundamental rule of goal setting is that it must be written down. The fundamental rule of goal setting is that it must be written down. A discussion between a cat and a young lady says, the cat, the young lady was asking a question. She said, would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? Says the young lady. The cat now said, that depends a good deal on where you want to go, said the cat. The young lady, Alice, said, I don't much care where. She said she doesn't care much where I'm headed. Then the cat said, it doesn't then matter which way you should go. So if you don't have an understanding of the direction you should be going, then you go anywhere you want. Go any direction you want. And when you go any direction you want, you end up not achieving your ultimate goal. So how do we discover our goals? As I said, it comes from your values and your visions. Now we're getting more practical right now. We're getting more practical right now. I'll be asking you to do some exercises as we move on. And so try to flow with me. It flows, your goals will flow from your values, it will flow from your visions. So looking at the faces of people that you are seeing on the screen, these are heroes. Talking about Nelson Mandela. Who else notices somebody else there? Do you know any other name there? I'm seeing Nelson Mandela on that screen. Who else do you notice?
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein, thank you. Who else do you take note of there?
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa, that's a good one. Do you notice any other person there?
Donald Trump.
There's no Donald Trump.
McDonald.
Then yes. Then we have Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali, yes.
And even Winston Churchill, and then a psychologist called Kayong. So now these are great men and women that have lived. Now, when you look at these people, this is just a little sample. We all have people we look up to, our heroes, our icons, our mentors, our fathers, people that we revere, we reverence. You know, there are certain values, certain things that make us admire them. Now, these are things that point you to the type of life you are expected to live. So I'm trying we are trying to be practical right now. How do you generate goal? Let us say that you don't even have idea of any goal at all. You are just in a blank state, as it were. You don't know whether to go left or right. And I'm saying right now that you can start from looking at people that you are looking up to. What is their life? How is their life pattern? What are the values that drive their life? What are the principles that rule them? What vision did you observe, that is ruling their destiny or rule their destiny? What direction did they go in life? If you reverse such a person, if such a person is your hero, it could be a pointer to the type of life you are supposed to live. So you begin to know, okay, if it is Mother Teresa type of life I need to live, now you begin to understand that, you need to be a humanitarian. You need to be somebody that is very good at relating with people, helping people. You need to be a philanthropist. And that begins to form what you got, the goals that you're going to set for yourself beginning 2020, 2022. If it is Nelson Mandela that is your hero, for instance, you begin to look at, okay, what is his life all about? How did he pattern himself? What are his values? What are his visions? What are the things that drove him to achieve the success that he achieved while he was on earth? And then you begin to pattern your life. Okay, that means I can plan like this, I can plan like that, I can plan like that. For me, as a person, for instance, Miles Monroe is my hero. Miles Monroe is my hero. When I look at him, his destiny is a similitude of my destiny. All that he was set out to achieve in life is the way I see my life also actualizing. And so I set goals that are similar to some of the goals he set for himself. Talking about studying, talking about listening to audio messages, talking about studying of the scriptures, trying to break scriptural principles into everyday life applications, and all that. So these things now guide the way I live my life, the way I set out to achieve things I want to achieve. So this is a good way to start. So questions that could come out of it: what are my values when earning or creating my income? What are my values when doing unpaid or charity work? What are my values when pursuing my leisure goals? What are my values with my family? All these things come into play to begin to generate what we call goals for you. Now, we all have different aspects or different areas of interest in life. Now, the mistake many people do in goal setting is that they always set goal for just one area of their life, which is not good, because at the end of the day, you are not just that particular aspect of you. As you are listening to me now, you are a person who has a career. You may have a business. You are, if you are not already in family life, you are expecting to be married and raise children. You are interested in financial breakthrough as you are there. You are interested in recreation and leisure. You are also interested in servicing humanity or contributing your quota in any environment where you are. So now, this is what makes you, you. Only your business is not you. Only your health is not you. Only your career is not you. Only your finances is not you. You are an embodiment of these different areas, which I call key result areas. And you are an embodiment of many result areas, key result areas. So if you look at what I have on the screen, I captured about 7 or 9 of them there, talking about partner, talking about intimacy, that's marital relationship, children, family, then friends and extended family, body and physical exercise, career, service to humanity, lifelong learning, possessions, talking about finance, talking about material things, assets, recreation, talking about leisure, how you unwind, your vacations, your vacations plans on that regard. So now I want you to now write on a sheet of paper the different key result areas that are important to you. Is important to you. It may not be exactly how I captured it, but I want you to capture your own. I want you to make a list of the things that are your key result areas, the aspects of your life that you need to set goals for. That's what I mean. The aspects of your life that you need to set goals for. I need you to write at least 5 of them. Write at least 5 of them out. You can remember other areas that I have not even mentioned. Just write at least 5 key result areas of your life that you need to set goals for. It could be marriage, regarding marriage, or let's say intimacy. It could be about family. It could be about finances and investment. It could be about health and physical well-being. It could be about what? Recreation. It could be about educational pursuit. You know, so just write about 5 of such. If you are done, let me know. Who has finished?
I have finished.
I have finished. I have finished.
Thank you. So now you listed 5. Good. So now I want you to rearrange those things you listed according to their level of importance to you. You have noted 5 key result areas that you need to set goals for, right? Now, I want you to now number them. That is, list them according to a level of importance. So number 1 should be the one that you are very passionate about, as in this comes first for you. Then number 2 should be the second one. Number 3 should be the third one. Number 4 should be the third one. Then number 5 should be the least of importance to you. So I'm saying that you should rearrange what you wrote, you know, according to the order of importance. Rearrange the 5 key result areas according to what? Order of importance to you as it is now. You know, guess what? Over time, this changes, because what bothers you today may not be your interest tomorrow. So our goals or actually changes as time goes by. Yes, but as it stands now with you, rearrange those key result areas according to their what level of importance. I guess you must have done that already. Now, trying to create more insight for you, if you look at the screen, you see some of the key result areas I'm trying to capture, talking about job, career, vocation, and all that. You can talk about your career, you can talk about your vocation, you can talk about what self-mastery, health-wise, you can talk about losing weight, you can talk about improving on your sleeping pattern, you can talk about managing stress, and or managing an illness, or just improving your well-being and eating well. In terms of your finances, if the salary, if you are into paid employment, how do you earn more? So talking about getting more promotions in the workplace. If you have a business, how do you scale up what you are doing and all that? Then lifelong learning. It could be in the area of spiritual development or professional development, academic qualifications. Are you aspiring to give focus to that area in 2022? Then play and recreation. How do you relax and all that? Are you planning for travels and all that? It is an area that you can set goals for. Relationship. What are your plans? What are you going to be looking into? Arranging certain things in the area of relationship, even if it's not a romantic relationship, as it were. What about your relationship with your family members? What about your relationship with your friends? Are you going to do anything about it? So these are some of the areas. So I just want you to note 5, and I think you have done that. And I also want to believe that you have arrived at rearranging them according to the what level of importance. Am I there? Are you with me?
Yeah, we are with you, sir.
Okay, good. The
Yes,
next step.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you very much. So the next step to this exercise is that on a scale of 1 to 10, rate your level of satisfaction and achievement in these areas currently. Your level of satisfaction in those areas. Now, first of all, you have listed them according to what order of importance, right? So now I want you, on a scale of 1 to 10, each one, give a mark to each one. Your level of achievement and satisfaction in those areas. If it is academic qualification that you is one of the things you listed as your key result area, rate it at where you are now in your academic qualification. Are you going to give it a 10 over 10? Are you going to give it a 9 over 10 or 5 over 10 or 2 over 10 or 1 over 10? Rate it, your level of satisfaction and achievement in that area right now. You get? Now, if you listed the relationship, that's romantic relationship, for instance, where are you on that? Rate yourself. Are you giving yourself 10 over 10? Are you giving yourself 5? Are you giving yourself 2, as the case may be? If it is in the area of spiritual development, where are you how are you feeling right now regarding your spiritual development? Is it a 10 over 10? Is it an 8 over 10? Just rate yourself. So I need all those 5 key result areas rated over 10 according to your current state of satisfaction regarding that area. If you are done, let me know. Be very sincere to yourself. we are looking at, this is introspective thinking. A lot of times, we as people, due to activities and busy schedules, we don't normally get opportunity to think deeply about ourselves like this. But thank God for sessions like this that try to draw our inner self out, so that we begin to develop more self-awareness. Has anyone finished? Has anyone finished?
Yes, sir. I've finished. I've finished.
Okay, if we can get
Yes.
if we can get 2 more persons, then we'll move on. If we can get 2 more persons, we'll move on. Do we have 2 more persons that are done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we can move on right now. I want someone to volunteer to share with us what you have. And I want you to take a look at that thing you have just written. Are you noticing anything? Is there anything that is coming to your mind based on this little exercise we have done now? Is there anything occurring to you? Are you observing a trend somewhere? Or are you noticing something? I just want somebody to look at what you have. Is there anything you are noticing? Somebody should share with us what you have, and then if there's anything you are noticing, let me hear it before I explain further. Someone should volunteer. Tell us what those 5 key result areas for you, because the way it is with you will be different from another person. So tell us, in terms of in order of importance, you list it. Then tell us your satisfaction level, that is your rating now for each one of them. And then tell us if there's anything you noticed. If there is nothing you noticed but you have done this, just share. Volunteer.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I should volunteer.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So for me as an individual, I listed my 5 priority areas in terms of my values and development. My 5 priority areas are: number 1 is spirituality. Number 2 is family relationship. Okay. And then number 3 is relationship and marriage. Then number 4 is service to humanity. And then 5 is career and business. I had to put career and business together because at the moment, at the level I am, the two are working. The two are, I would say, the two are just moving in the same direction at the level I am currently. So that is just that. So
Okay.
for me, in my rating for spirituality, I gave myself 7/10. I gave myself 7/10. Uh, there have been challenges spiritually. There have been challenges in that regard, but we've been working on it. We've been working on it, and we are gradually seeing improvements in that regard. So,
Okay.
and then for the second aspect, which is relationship
Family.
with family,
Yeah.
I would say 6/10. The reason why I'm saying 6/10 is that earlier at the beginning of the year, I told myself I will make out time to continually communicate with my family members. I'm from a family of 10. I have 9 siblings.
Wow.
So, and my
A
mom is
large
late,
family.
and yes, my mom is late now, as my dad is still around. So, and I told myself at least once in 2 weeks, I should be able to speak to each and every member of my family. Uh, but that has not been possible for
Yeah.
I've not been able to I've not been able to achieve that because oftentimes a lot of schedules and everything, and I've not been able to keep up. Even right now, my brother is on this call. My brother is on this call with us. He's in this session, and uh, it takes a whole lot of effort being able to keep up with the communication, being able to keep up with the relationship. So, and with next year before us, if I begin from this month, I'm beginning to make certain adjustments in that regard to see how I could improve in terms of communication with my family members. And then
Okay.
the next one is relationship and marriage. For that, I think I'll give myself 9/10 because it's all headed in the right direction. It's all headed in the right direction. So, and then after that, service to humanity. For that also, I'll rate myself 9/10. 9/10. Because so far that has been the primary definition of my life. Everything I do has just been towards service to God and then humanity. So that's just that. And then for the last one, which is career and business. Career and business. For this, I think I rated myself here 7, but I think I will have to put it down to 6. I'll have to put it down to 6 because for my business, I am at the early stage, and I am at the early stage. We're just starting off. So there are a lot of things to put in place, a lot of things to put in place. And then again, in terms of career, I had to I had to I had to resign from a job I was doing. I had to put that on hold while I work on certain other things because actually one of my plans is to further my education up to PhD level. So uh, I applied for a master's program, which will be starting soon. So because of that, I decided not to take up a long time employment, so that I don't have to leave while on the job. So I don't have to leave. So that's the reason why I'm letting myself cease in that regard. So okay, okay, that's all for
Thank
now.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Victor.
All right, sir.
You've done well.
Yes, sir.
We need someone else also to volunteer.
Okay, for me, for my health, I'll give myself 6. A lot of times this year I fell off the wagon, watching my weight and eating healthy. I'm trying to, because I'm very allergic, trying to stay away from all the allergens. For this year, I'll give myself 6/10. I tried, if it was beginning of the year, I would have given 9, but as it is now, it's currently in 6/10. Then
Okay, so
family,
so
family.
health is your number one importance.
Yes, because without
Okay,
my
good.
health, every
Okay,
other
good.
thing is not going to work out.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Then for family is also very, very important. I will give that 9/10.
Okay.
I try as much as possible to call my mom every day. I speak to my mom every day, and by extension, I talk to my dad. Not like every day, but I always tell her to send my regards to dad. And sometimes I call him at least up to 2, 3 times in a week. Then my siblings, somehow we interact every day, if not on calls, on WhatsApp or chat, anyhow. But if there's any day that I don't see their status updates or I don't hear from them, I make sure I hear from them any which way before the end of any day. And then relationship with people, my friends. I This year I tried, let's say 5/10. I tried to reach out more to people this year. I tried to call people, I tried to keep tabs with them, I tried to know what's up on their end, I tried to be available for my friends. I tried to be really like, okay, I should step that up to 7. I tried to really be available. I tried to give a listening ear this year. I tried to be very, very present in the lives of my friends. Then for career and business for now, let's say 2/10. For career, I just finished my internship, and that should be less than a month ago, and looking out for other things for this year and then next year too, and then academics too. I just got admission into a postgraduate program, hoping to start up by next year, and then still pursuing other one scholarships to see if I could study, do my masters outside the country. But the one here in the country, I should start up by January. Then service to humanity, that has always been my mantra, so I should give myself 8
Okay,
on
so
that.
sorry. So what that number 4, what rating do we give there?
Okay, for business, I said 2/10.
Okay.
Because I long stopped and I'm trying to start up again. Then for career, I should give 6 because I just finished my internship, and then currently nothing
Okay.
for now, just looking out for other opportunities. Then service to
Okay.
humanity, 8/10. Then personal development too. Personal development, that should be 8/10 too.
Okay. Thank you so much, my dear. You've
Thank you.
done well. You've done well. Okay. Do we have any other person volunteering, or we should move on? Okay. So now you've done, let's look at the analysis of these results, and it will help us to understand, begin to understand goal setting in a more deeper way. Now, for me, I'm looking at Victor's key result areas. He said that number 1 is spirituality for him. And in that spirituality, he has given it 7/10. Family relationship, he says 6/10. Relationship, and that's romantic relationship and marriage, 9/10. Service to humanity, 9/10. Career and business, 6/10. Now, if we look at I think Chidima is the one that spoke. If we look at her own result, it shows that health is number 1 of primary importance, and she rated it 6/10. Family, 9/10. Relationship as number 3 is 7. Then career, we'll choose career since she's not much in business, 6/10. And then service to humanity, 8/10. Now, what I see, or what I'm noticing from, let's talk about Victor before we go to Chidima, for instance, is that the one that is his primary number 1 importance, the most important aspect of him, is bearing 7, which is not a bad mark. It's actually an A mark for that matter. But for anyone that is someone's number 1, number 2, and number 3, is expected that they should rank highest in rating. Because since it is the most important key result area to you, it means that it will give you the highest fulfillment or satisfaction to have achieved it. So meaning that the rating there is to be high. That is, take note of what I say, is to be high. That is the ideal. We're not saying it must be. I'm saying it should be. So now, this now gives you an idea of where you must lay serious emphasis, you pay serious attention to, or lay emphasis on in setting your goal for the new year. Every aspect of this, your life, requires certain level of goal setting and drive for execution or implementation. Look at Chidima's own. Health is 6, even though it is 1. That's the number 1 primary objective for her, but it's reading 6. While the second one is reading 9. So what it means is that in setting her goal for 2022, health is going to take a lot of priority, because the gap between where she is in her satisfaction of her health and the importance of health to her is a bit wide. Assuming she's scoring 8, scoring 9, scoring 10 in that one that is her number 1 or number 2 or number 3, we won't have any issues. We'll be fine. But being that in that one that is even very important to her, she's just slightly escaped average in it, it means there's a lot of work to be done in that area. So meaning that as she's trying to set goals in these areas, she must allocate quality time and resources towards this health issue. Now, if you extrapolate this or extend what we have done to say, okay, well, you list out about 8 or even 10 key result areas, you realize that every one of them that is from number 1 to 5 for you must or is supposed to be at the satisfactory level of 8 to 10. So if you don't have up to that level of award or rating for it, it means you have work to do there. So this little sketch that you have before you is already giving you an idea of what work needs to be done, what goals need to be set, where to lay emphasis on. So it's very practical. Now, I want us to now do something very realistic. Or let us leave it towards the end of the program. Now, what I want us to do towards the end of the program is that we're going to put another column again. What's our expectation? Where do you feel this mark should be at the end of 2022? Where do you feel this mark should be at the end of 2022? You understand? For instance, for Victor, looking at all the resources available to you, looking at all the things that are facing you, where do you hope the spirituality to be? What mark are you aspiring that the other one should be? Now, you can now say maybe 8. You should add at least 1 more mark. You need to be sincere and very realistic or practical about it, because, for instance, somebody that is going to school and trying to also run a business at the same time may not have all the time to do all the spiritual activities and all that. So if you go and put 10 over 10 there, you are not being realistic, because practically speaking, it won't happen. You understand? Now, for somebody, it will be that, okay, based on the engagements I'm even going to have in 2022, if I'm able to maintain my spirituality at number 7, I've done well. It's all about you and what you feel that is possible within the sphere of things around you. You understand? So, but we're going to get into that. You are going to do that column towards the end of the class when we have discussed about setting smart goals or smarter goals. So thank you. Keep this document close to you as we continue our discussion. Good. So now, another thing is to create a vision for each KRA. We're going to come to that towards the end of the class. So Now, firming up your goals. Now, these are certain questions I want you to ponder about. Ponder on these questions. What are your 5 most important goals right now? Looking at what you have written out. Now, I was even helping you by saying, write out 5 key result areas. Maybe those 5 key result areas are the most important. That's why you're able to remember them. Now, because there are more, it could actually be up to 10, it could be up to 15. I mean, the key result areas. You can actually narrow it down to say, okay, like Chidima was talking about career and lumping career and business together. She can actually separate it. You understand? Somebody can actually separate family relationship from other relationships. Somebody can separate maybe finance from investment. So you can talk about finance as just money in the bank, talk about investment as having assets, all that. So you can actually expand this thing from 5 to 10 to 15. So, and I'm not saying that now, this first question I'm asking you here, what are your 5 most important goals? Now, I'm not trying to say that, okay, maybe these 5 that I'm seeing here are your 5 most important key result areas out of maybe 10 or 15 that are available to you. Now, how would you spend your time if you won a 50 million naira on national lottery? Now, remember, we're trying to drive you at generating what? Vision, values, and goals. So now these are the questions that when you answer at your own convenience, in your own closet, you'll be able to say, okay, it means that these are the things that are driving me. What would you do if you found out today you have 6 months to live? What will you be out doing? For instance, God forbid, but if they tell you that, okay, between now and July next year or June next year, that's all the time you have, what is those things that you should be doing? Now, these are the things that will guide you about what you should pay attention to in your goal setting. It means that these are things that will matter to you now, and you must be out pursuing it. Now, looking back over your life, what activities have given you the greatest feeling of importance and fulfillment? Now, it's a pointer to what you should be paying attention to at this point in time. What can you get totally absorbed in and lose track of time? For me, it's meditation. When I'm writing, when I'm meditating and writing, when I'm generating insight from within me, I lose track of time. And so when you come around me, you don't throw away a piece of paper around me, because inside that piece of paper may have been an insight I noted down that if you throw it away, I may not remember it again. If you come to my phone, I have a lot of insights typed in, my laptop, everywhere, insights. When I'm studying the scriptures, when I'm reading, when I'm meditating, is my best time. If you had your life to live over again, what would you change or do differently? These are pointers to what should be your goals in this coming year. What things have you always wanted to do but been afraid to attempt? Make a list. It could be that this coming year, those are the things that you need to focus in and address and overcome and conquer. What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? What is that? Imagine you are attending your own funeral as an invisible observer. What do you want people to be saying? What would you want to be hearing as your accomplishments? What would you want people to be saying? So that is what I call having vision for your life, creating an expansive and all-encompassing vision for your life. When you take thought of all these things and plot them like a graph, you will see a tendency, you see a pattern coming out. And that pattern will now be like what will now form your vision for life. It means it will show you a direction, a pattern, what you should be doing. Like for me, when I plotted this type of graph for me, answering some of these questions, that is why I came to realize that the life of my tomorrow is a similitude of my life. What is that? Have spiritual influence, have serious corporate influence through through what? Book writing, through corporate training and coaching, and also have relevance in governance through what? Through mentorship and insight into what leadership should be like. And that is why that's what my life is all about now. People call me pastor. I'm not a pastor, but because of my what? My spiritual influence, I'm driving at it with passion, with passion, with passion. Even though I'm not into it full time, but I'm driving at it with passion. Now, corporate-wise, I'm into human resource management. What drove me into it? I want to be training. I want to be mentoring people. I want to be, attending to how people develop themselves. I want to be advising. I want to be guiding. That is it. I'm into writing. I have a lot of unpublished books waiting for the fullness of time and fun to be able to unleash them. So when you look at all these things now, you discover that if I'm looking at my funeral as an invisible guest, I'm looking at people talking about, oh, this is book blessed me. This is one blessed me. Oh, the other day I was in his class. I was so blessed with his thoughts, with his line. Some people still send me text message today about some of the messages I preached in WCF in 2007, 2008. Till today, they still remember the topic of the message. They still remember the statements, some of the statements that got them, inspired and all that. That's what is driving my life. So you must be able to plot these things out for yourself so that you can actually say, yes, this is me, or this is the vision of my life. Now look at this. Somebody wrote this goal, this goal in the area of his career. This is specifically as it relates to career, but you can actually expand it to relate to your life as a whole. He said, I have a wonderful new job. It is located within 30 minutes of where I live. I work for 40 hours a week. The job is with a blue chip company. The company is successful. It's a successful, technology-driven, ethical, well-organized, and very generous. The company has good products and services which add to the quality of people's lives. My employer appreciates my skill. It's a joy to work for them. I really like and respect the people I work with, and they like me. All the management people like me very much and are impressed with me personally and my work skills. I have a new Core i7 computer at my desk. I love what I do. I'm paid about $500,000 monthly. Date of this decision or this goal, 30th of March, 2019. Date to be achieved, June. Now, this is a goal that somebody said. Now, if you read this goal, it's as if it has already been achieved. And that is the power in it. Please don't set goals and then put it in the futuristic. Write it in the present tense. That there's a power in achieving goals when you write as if it has already been achieved. That is a very critical takeaway from this meeting. Don't say, I will. Write it that it is being done right now. That is who you are now. And so when I write my financial goals, I say I'm earning between so to so right now. And when I read it, I'm reading it as if that is where I am. And it affects my thinking. It affects my mentality. It affects my psyche. Now let's go to setting smarter goals. World over, you can't discuss goal setting without talking about smart or smarter goals. And what does that mean? The acronym SMARTA signifies S there, the beginning letter there, S, signifies specific. Every goal you are setting for yourself must be what? Must be specific. What it means is that it has to be precise, it has to be detailed. It must be exact. You don't set vague goals for yourself and expect it to be achieved. It must be what? Specific. And that is why we try to now drill it down to different key result areas, like spirituality. And if you want to go deeper inside spirituality, you need to still distill it. Somebody might say, I want to improve my regularity in church. Another person may say, I want to what? Improve my what they call it, quiet time hour. My quiet time. I want to improve the quality of my quiet time. Another person may say, I need to improve in my prayer life. These are different aspects of spirituality, because when you just say spirituality, there are so many things inside it, lumped up in there. You may be actually very active in church, but you're not reading your Bible. You may be reading Bible, but you may not be prayerful. You understand? So you need to distill it the more. So that's why we said some people don't set goals, because it takes discipline and it takes work. It's work. M means measurable. Can you tell that you have achieved it? Are there clear boundaries? Is it measurable? Is it something that can, when you reach the goal, you know that, yes, this is it. I've achieved it. Some people don't set goals and then it's not measurable. You can't measure it. It's not measurable. So my question to you is, the goals you have set for yourself, or you are going to set for yourself, how do you know you have achieved it? How do you know that you have arrived at that location? It must be clear. The destination must be clear. Attainable. Is it possible? It's expected that the goal should stretch you, meaning it should be something that should challenge you, but it shouldn't be too far away to get. Let me give you an instance. I wanted to do my master's. Now, looking at my family life, looking at my financial capacity and all that, I knew that talking about going abroad to do my master's at this point in time will almost be unrealistic, because I have my children's school fees to pay. I have a family to get up. I have parents to take care of. I have my younger brother that I'm paying his school fees in school. And I have what is my regular income at this point in time. So when I put all those into consideration, I want to do my master's. It's a goal. But talking about going abroad to do that master's may be unattainable goal at this point in my life. And so what did I do? I set out to achieve the goal of having my master's in an indigenous university, and which has been done and dusted. So it has to be attainable. Don't go and set a goal that is not attainable and you say you are walking by faith. I can't be saying I'm exercising faith this moment and be talking about having a private jet. That's not realistic. So it has to be attainable. The next point there is result-oriented. Does it really excite you and provide you with the results you want to achieve? Is it result-oriented? That result-oriented means that it is something that matters. It must provide enough motivation to you. Like now, we talked about 5 critical key result areas for you. So these are areas that matter to you. They are the area that you desire result. You are passionate about having result in these areas. It has to be time-bound. It has to be what? Time-bound. Any goal you set for yourself that doesn't have a timeline, forget it. It's not a goal. Fundamentally, it's not a goal. Every goal must be time-bound. There must be a deadline. Remember the story I shared with us? That service year, I told them within the service year, 3 things. I must have an apartment in Lagos, have a car, whether official or personal. I want to get married within the service year. So there's already a timeline attached to it. The timeline is within the service year. Then it has to be agreed. Now, look at this statement. Agreed. Agreed at this point in time means sometimes in trying to achieve your goal, there are other stakeholders. For instance, if you are working and they are setting goal for you, it's not only you, your manager or whoever is supervising, you need to agree. If you are the one setting it for your subordinate need to agree. For me, I'm a married man. I can't just set goals without aligning with what my wife has to say. It has to be agreed because it cannot be achieved in isolation. If you're leading a team, it has to be agreed within the team. So that is how to set what? Smarter goals. These things are fundamental and they are universal. They are global practice. So you must weigh and align your goals against these parameters. Now, after you have generated your goal and you have tried to align it to make it smarter, you need to create momentum. Now, this is now talking about the little actions that need to begin to happen as far as those goals are concerned. Now, what is the first thing you need to do? You need to make it visible. This is what they call the Osborne principle of visibility. You need to make it visible. Now, at this point, it is expected that you keep those goals at places that you need to see them. Maybe you create posters, pictures, brochures. It must be visible. If you can't see your goals, then you cannot reach it. Do you know why Bishop created an environment such as Canaan land? He created that environment so that it will always be speaking to his goals and vision. And so when he's in Canaan land, everything about Canaan land speaks about his future, his destiny, speaks about his goals. It's easy for him to always live in it. And so you see, early will I seek thee. You see covenant hour. You see this. It is happening. It's an environment he created. When you go around Canaan land, you see posters, scriptures speaking to you, hanged here. All those things are the things that talk to the person about his goals and his future. On my mirror, you see me paste certain things on my mirror just to point me to what I'm looking at. So keep your goals very close to you. You say what you can't see, you won't do. Osborne principle. So keep them close to you. Write them in your journals. Carry them along with you. So now let's look at a bit about organizing yourself, because a lot of times people set goals, they have written out their plans, but they are not achieving it because they are not organized enough to achieve it. There are little other things that you need to look at in your life that will help you to achieve your goal as we try to round up. So when we talk about organization, we're talking about ability to manage your time and to be productive each day as you are working towards your goals, as you're working towards achieving your goals. What must you do to manage the activities, each day's activities that you have already created your plan, created a goal, and every day you're supposed to be following up with it and all that. But alas, there are a lot of things that come up every day to clog your time. Life is measured in time. That's why we call it a lifetime. Life is measured in time. That's why we call it a lifetime. So even when you set your goals are actually against what? Time. But we cannot manage time. We can only manage ourselves in relation to time. We cannot control how much time we have. It's given to everybody at the same, which is 24 hours. We can only control how we use it. We cannot choose whether to spend it or not. It is spent, whether we like it or not. You can't say my time is not going. It's going. Whether you like it or not, it's going. And so once we have wasted time, it is gone and it cannot be replaced. So your goal is set with respect to time. That is why even the program that we are observing today says next 365 days. You see, it's against time. So your plans and your goals are against time. Some people are happy, busy. Some people are unhappy, busy. Now you need to be happy, busy. So how do you become happy? How do you become busy and happy? One is by setting goals. Number two, you need to be happy to make difficult choices towards your goal. Number three, you need to see lack of time as a fulfilling challenge. Number four, believe that time is time limitation is an equalizer. It's not only you, it's affecting everybody at the same time. It's an equalizer. Everybody has 24 hours. Then love parallels. Learn to do 2 or 3 things at a go. Handle 2 or 3 things at a go. Not more than that. Not more than that. You know, there's what we call multitasking. But a lot of people multitask and get what? Messed up in trying to multitask. Now, you are not supposed to engage in more than 2 or 3 things at a go. If not, you will not be able to achieve result, excellent result in them. It's very challenging trying to put all fingers in your mouth at the same time. But it's also not the best that you don't only do one thing. You must love parallels. You can do 2 things, you can do 3 things. You can, what I mean is that you can focus on more than 1 thing or 2 at the same time, trying to do your academics and also look into your relationship. Don't say, oh, I must forget every other thing. Let me just sort out relationship. No, it doesn't happen that way. You can be paying attention to relationship, paying attention to school at the same time. You can actually be paying attention to your finances or your business and paying attention to at the same time also. So, but don't put too many hands into your mouth at the same time also. Now, there are 2 principles I'm bringing our mind into. 2 things I'm bringing our mind into. Number 1 is what we call the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle talks about the principle of Pareto. The man that brought this up is called Pareto. He said that 20% of what we do give us 80% of results. 20% of what we do per day gives us 80% of our result. Very, very strategic. So meaning that you can actually shrink all that you are doing to 20%. So if you, by the time you list out all your goals, maybe 20 of them, you have listed all the key result areas, about 20. He's saying that you should reduce that to 20%. Focus on 20% of it that will give you the maximum of result in your life. Then what is Parkinson's law? Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. What does that mean? It means that if you don't time yourself, you will take the whole year to do what you would have done in 3 months. So meaning that effectiveness is in managing your time. There's high effectiveness in managing your time. Efficiency, there's high efficiency in managing your time. Then the next thing we need to talk about is what we call the time management matrix. The time management matrix. This was a gift given to us by Stephen Covey of blessed memory, the man that wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All of us here, if you have not read that book, you must read it. If you've not read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you must go and read it. It is very, very, very valuable. The man taught us about time management, and he brought up what he called the time management matrix. And he said some things are urgent, some things are important, some things are not urgent, and some things are not what? Important. Now, you must be able on a daily basis to be able to address issues accordingly. There are things that are on crisis, quadrant of crisis, which are the urgent and important things. Those things, you can't wait to do them. You must do them right now. Now, but there are certain things that are not very urgent, but they are very important. Those are the things that you plan for. We normally say that prevention is better than cure. This thing is about preventive measures. Then there are certain things that are not important, but they are urgent, like interruptions, calling you for meetings, village meetings that may not yield any result, or certain calls that you can actually ignore, but they are urgent. They're telling you, no. Those things take your time. Now, in the quadrant, the 4th quadrant, which is the quadrant of waste, are the quadrant that things are not important and things are not urgent, like watching excessive television, doing certain things that are trivial. And we're saying that if you spend more of your time on those things, you are wasting your life. Let's discuss the top time wasters in your life. 4 of them are categorized into 4 groups. lack of clear, focused goals, lack of organization, lack of self-discipline, and outside influences. If you're able to manage these 4 areas, you'll be very good and you'll be home and dry. Now, there's what we call circle of influence. You must always learn to focus your energy on things you can change at every point in time. Don't go and be focusing your energy on things that you know naturally you cannot change. Don't focus your energy on things you cannot change. While you focus your energy on things that you can change, your circle of influence will begin to what? Increase or expand, and you can begin to handle more things. There was a time in your life when you couldn't take certain decisions. It was your parents that were taking those decisions for you. At this point in your life, there are certain decisions that you can control by yourself. That's how life is. On a daily basis, your circle of influence increases as you work more on yourself. If you set goals, achieving those goals will be highly dependent on your organization and self-discipline. Bishop Oyedepo said that discipline is about operating as demanded, not as convenient. He said operating as demanded, not as convenient. It may not be convenient for you to wake up in the night to read, but because it is what you need to achieve a particular goal, you have to do it. It may not be convenient for you to go jogging early in the morning, but because it is what is needed to achieve a particular goal on your health, you have to do it. It may not be convenient to take garlic and ginger, but because it is needed, it's what is needed to be able to achieve that goal that you have set for yourself over your physical health, you need to do it. So that is how it is. If you remove discipline and organized life from goal setting, forget it. It will just end up in paperwork. So pay attention to organization, pay attention to self-discipline. So in summary, I have listed 8 areas to improve your personal management, which is actually what is going to help you in 2022. Your values. Why do you do what you do? You must be able to answer that question. Your goals, your plans, and deadlines set for them. Your personal development, your procrastination. How do you overcome procrastination and be able to kill all the deadlines you have set for yourself? The 80-20 principle. Have you been able to cascade all the things you are to do into 20 points, into 20% of the point? Out of all the 100 things you have written out, take out 20 as the most critical and focus on them. If you have listed 10 things, take out 2 as the most critical and focus on them. Very important. It is the law of convergence. Converge. It's the law of focus. Organize your life and your work. Focus. Balance your time. Create time to play. And I say that key to time and life management. Values. What do you stand for? In trying to explain further on these things, going deeper, but because of time, we may not go deeper into this. Now, there's a particular story that was told by Stephen Covey in that book. He said, if your life is like a jar, a bucket, and you have 4 things to put inside it: rock, pebbles, sand, and water, how are you going to go about putting these things inside that jar? What comes first and what comes second? I need answers. If your life is like a bowl and you have to put water, sand, pebbles, and rock inside it, which one do you put first? Which one do you put second? Which one do you put third? Which one is the last one? To make sure that all these things enter that jar. Remember, the measurement of these things have been created in such a way that if you don't follow this, the exact way of putting it, it will not enter that jar. So think about it. Which one do you think you should put first? Which one should come second? Which one should come third? Which one should come fourth? Answers. Okay. Somebody say pebble first. You can actually chat. Pebbles first, sand second. Rocks third. And water. Okay, that's Victor's view. Pebbles first, sand second, rock third, and water fourth. I'm looking at the chat, our chat. I've not seen anybody else say something. You can chat there. Okay, now, since it's only Victor that have made a statement on this, I will say that if you arrange it other than the way I'm going to say it, research has shown that those things will not be able to enter that jar. Number one that must enter is the rock. The rock. The first thing that must enter is the rock. The second thing that must enter is the pebble. The pebbles. Then the third thing that must enter is the sand. And the last thing should be your water. Now, the reason is this. By the time you put your rock is big. It will still create spaces in between the rocks where the pebbles can enter. And even when you finish putting the pebbles are big to some extent. They still will create spaces where the sand can enter and while you're shaking it. Then when the sand has entered and gone to take all the small spaces that were created by the pebbles, then you can now pour water, and water can now simmer down. Apart from this approach, any other approach you use, either the sand will not enter or the water will pour away, or the rock will not be able to penetrate. So what is the implication of this? In your life, address the big issues first. In your life, when you are setting your life goals, pay attention to those ones that are more important to you. The big things, the rocks are the things that are big to you, are the things that are more important to you. Pay attention to them first. Your rocks are the things that are more important to you. Like in that your list of key result areas, that your number one is your rock. That your number one is your rock. Pay attention to those ones first, and other things will now align. Very, very important. Very, very important. I practice this rule in my life all the time. For me, when I was in school, I have decided or created a target and goal for myself. And I said that after school, the first thing that should happen should be my marriage. That is work, then marriage. Then after marriage, masters and every other thing can come next. You get me? And because I set that one as my rock, every other thing had to come into play. Accommodation had to come, work has to come, children, every other thing has to come. So you must be able to carve out what is your rock, what is your pebble, what is your sand, and what is your water. And the exercise we did before is going to help you to achieve that. Then procrastination. A lot of people don't achieve their goals because they procrastinate, but is a monster that must be dealt with. And the reason why we procrastinate is because we don't set clear deadlines, inadequate resources, we don't know where to begin, we feel overwhelmed sometimes, lack of passion, and fear of failure. So, but you can address all these things using some tactics. What are the tactics? Delegate, delete, break it into pieces, that is chop it up. The 15 minutes rule means that give 15 minutes of your time to that activity every day. And before you know it, that thing is sorted over time. Another point says, do it. Just close your eyes and do it. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, why don't you ask for advice? Set clear deadlines. Reward yourself when you're achieving results and remove distractions. These things will help you to overcome procrastination. Now, another thing that is important for you to know is you need to know who you are, your chronotype. Some people get more results in the morning. Others get more results in the afternoon. Others get more results in the evening. I normally tell people, if you are in school, for instance, and you are not a night person, you are not somebody that can read in the night, don't go and be collecting leadership post in your department, on your fellowship, or in your church. Because by the time you finish running around in the church or department and all those things, and in the night you go and sleep, you won't be able to achieve results in your academics. So anybody that's collecting leadership role in school, fellowship, department, to faculty, you must be able to read in the night. So if you're not a night person, forget it. You lose, you fail woefully. So chronotype talks about your type of when you prefer working, when your brain gets maximum concentration in terms of your work or reading or whatever you are doing. So you must know yourself. If you are a morning person, then don't allow distractions in the morning. If you are an evening person, then don't allow distractions in the evening. So you cannot use a morning time to do little things while you focus in the evening. If you're an evening person, if you're an afternoon person, you can use morning and evening to do the other things that are not going to take much of your energy. But once it's afternoon time, forget about everything and pay attention to those things that are very critical. If you're a morning person, pay attention to the critical things in the morning. So don't use your morning to play when you know that in the evening you lack concentration. So know yourself. So chunk it, block it, and tackle it. That's just a way of inspiring you to what? To handle your goals and not procrastinate over it. So in conclusion, I have some wise words for you. What is now the one commitment you are now prepared to make to move your goals forward? We have tried to capture your key result areas you need to set goals for, which you are still going to go back and still flesh out. Now we have discussed that those areas you can actually begin to identify activities you need to do in those areas to make it worthwhile, so that your mark in those areas can improve from what you have written there already. Now, what is that commitment you're going to make today? Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. Take time to deliberate, but when the time for action arrives, stop thinking and go. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. You may delay, but time will not delay. These things point you to the way you are supposed to manage your goals. Imagine what it will be in the next 10 years, what your future will look like. Will it be meaningful? Will it make a difference? Will you leave your personal signature behind? What is your 3-year plan? What is your 1-month plan? What is your 1-year plan? What is your 1-week plan? All these things need to be carved out if you must achieve goals. The timelines must be there. So, and I'm saying that armed with an inspiring vision and clear goals, we can realize our dreams. There are certain other aspects of this lecture that I didn't touch because of time, but with the little that we have discussed, if you go back and flesh it out, you will ensure it will help you to make sure that 2022, you begin to, 1, pay attention to what matters most to you. That is very critical. Number 2, you now begin to know what needs to be done in those areas of importance. Number 3, you begin to organize yourself and manage your time effectively in order to make sure that every day delivers accordingly. Because it is the daily activities that will sum up to become the yearly activity now. It is the weekly activities that will sum up to become the monthly activity. And it's the monthly activity that will sum up to become the yearly. So if you miss your day, you end up missing your week. If you miss your weeks, you end up missing your months. If you miss your months, you end up missing your year. And if you miss your years, you end up missing your life. Thank you. Do you have questions?
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's been an amazing, an engrossing session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Please, I don't know, those still on the call, does anyone have any question? Any question? If you have any questions, just indicate So we'll quickly take your questions and conclude on this session. If you have any question, please indicate. Okay, so to ask question, I would like to ask for the key result areas, would you say there are key result areas every individual should focus on, or would you say they are simply individual specific? That's each individual is to decide what amounts to key result areas for him, or are there important areas every individual should focus on?
Okay, good. Thank you for the question. Generally, there are result areas. There are result areas that every individual in life should actually look out for. I call them result area. I didn't put key there, just result areas, which can list up to 20, 25. Talking about as a human being, what bothers a human being? Money bothers a human being. Career bothers a human being. Marriage or friendship, family, health, spirituality, that is faith, belief, all those things, learning, and all that. So all these aspects of life is what I call result areas. Now, the ones that are not key result areas, the ones that are key is not individualistic, meaning out of all these multiple areas that bother human beings, now, which ones are key to you at this point in time? Which ones are key to you? So now that's why you may decide to just brainstorm and list 20 out of the 20 areas, aspects of life. You now reduce it to key result area. That is the one that are key to you, the one that you want to pay attention to at this point in your life. So you cannot reduce those things to, because for instance, somebody that is in secondary school cannot put romantic relationship or marriage relationship. It's an aspect of life, but for him, it cannot come up as a key result area at all. Reason because it's not featuring there at all for now. But a graduate can actually add that as a key result area. So generally, every human being has almost many aspects of their life, which can be multiple. But for key result area, there are areas that you must pay attention to. Attention there may not be 100%, may not be 90%, but is an area of you that you must pay attention to. Like me now, I cannot but pay attention to children education. So in my generating my list, children education has to be there because I have to make plans for it. I have to make plans for them. It's not just financial. It's also about time. It's also about making a budget, futuristic plans for them. What courses must they go and do now? Are they going to go for coding classes? And all those things are plans, goals that I must set. So it becomes key to me. So do you understand? Every human being has areas of interest. Every one of us have areas of, we must think about our head, we must think about marriage and all those things. But certain things may not come up right now, so they may not be key. So now, but out of all the things that are needed now, they are now called key. When you now list the key, you can now rearrange them based on level of what? Importance. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And in answering that question, you touched on many other questions that I had in mind. Thank you very much. Please, I don't know if there is any other person that has a question to ask. Any other person with a question to ask? Any other person?
So if
okay.
It means that when I set exam for this, you get 100%.
That's what it appears. Alexa,
yes, thank you.
Once again, I want to appreciate you for making our time to be here with us. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You are highly welcome, Victor. And I want to say that you are doing a good job. Keep it up. Consistency is the rule of the game. Consistency is the rule of the game. So keep at it.
Yes, sir.
When your cloud is full, the rain will surely come down.